Well, hello, and here we are once again with our reading through the Bible and the one-year Bible, and it is April 23rd, and we're beginning the book of Judges and our Old Testament selection for the day. And as Judges begins, one of the clear messages is that God is enough. He directs Israel, he provides divine assurance, he possesses divine power, he is present with his people. He is the reason for the success that Judah experienced in their victories at Bezek, Jerusalem, Hebron, Debir, Zephath, or Hormah, and the towns of the coastal plain. This is all part of a pattern which you might have noticed going on as we've begun the last few books. As Exodus begins with the death of Joseph, and Joshua begins with the death of Moses, and Judges begins with now the death of Joshua. When we get to 1 Kings, it will begin with the death of David. And yet, for all of that, God's kingdom does not collapse. God's kingdom endures. So what does that mean for us? Simply put, our help is in the name of the Lord, not in the name of your favorite Christian hero or leader. Another key concern here is the unity of Israel. Judah and Simeon worked together. The sons of Joseph, in other words, Ephraim and Manasseh, acted together, and they gained Bethel. Such cooperation is still important in the church today. God has given us one another as channels of his help and strength. What follows then is a series of colorful episodes that related to various tribal conflicts that were going on and how they were settled. Then we're given a glimpse of the failure of the northern tribes to fully possess their territories. The tribe of Dan even had things go backwards. This was a problem, not just militarily, but for spiritual reasons. Such failure would lead to tolerance of pagan religions and then to apostasy, or the worship of false gods. This would prove to be Israel's ruin. What can we learn? Certainly we, too, must be on guard lest we be satisfied with only outward trappings of success. We need to be faithful even in the so-called little things, and we need to beware of half-hearted Christianity. Finally, in our reading, the angel of the Lord went up from Gilgal to Bochim. He accuses Israel, and then he declares that he will not drive out the inhabitants of the land. The people carried on and wept. They sacrificed to the Lord. But there's no conclusion to that episode. The book of Judges moves quickly to conclude Joshua's ministry and to report his death and burial. So what happened? Well, it appears that even though the people wept, they did not necessarily change their ways. Martin Lloyd-Jones, when he was a pastor in Wales, faced accusations of encouraging sentimentalism. His response was to say, "It is very easy to make a Welshman cry, but it needs an earthquake to make him change his mind." So let us take to heart then not only our reading here in the book of Judges, but also the message we see in Joel. "Yet even now, declares the Lord, return to me with all your heart, with fasting, with weeping, and with mourning, and rend your hearts and not your garments. Return to the Lord your God, for he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love." Well, there you have our little devotion for the day as we begin the book of Judges, a very fascinating book to be sure, even though we're confronted by a bit of geography here at the beginning of it. May God bless you, and I will look forward to talking with you again.